Welcome to the Messy Success Podcast, where we are shining a light on being successful in an unconventional way. My name is Tracy French, and I am your host. I am a mom, wife, real estate agent, real estate investor, and real estate team leader. I'm joined by my friend and co-host, Jim Hill. We discuss how success in life doesn't always have to look the same, and we are here to prove that to you. Let's get started.
What's up, y'all?
Hey.
I'm Jim Hill, one of the friends.
And we have an extra friend today.
Yeah, we do.
Joel.
That is right. Hey, everybody.
Welcome to the table.
Thank you very much, Ms. Tracy.
I feel like Jada Pinkett Smith now when I just said welcome to the table.
Ooh, I've never seen that show. Is that a good show?
It is. It's Red Table Talk. It's kind of like a
Way
podcast,
less
sort
awesome
of.
version than what we do. Probably.
Yeah. Anywho.
That sounds fantastic. I don't know if I've ever watched it.
Really?
Yeah, serious.
Okay.
Now, I've seen all of Will Smith's movies, but that's not who we're talking about. We're talking about Jada.
Yeah, you should watch it. It's a lot. There's a lot of, I think it's I'm one of those that really loves reality TV, and it's it's really good, but it also talks about a lot of stuff like celebrities and I don't know.
But is it reality?
That's what Will Smith has to deal with every day when he goes home, I
Fair
suppose.
enough.
Yeah.
Touche.
I think it's good. I don't know. She does a good job.
As much money as he makes, he could probably deal with a lot more than most. So.
That's true. Shameless plug. Will Smith, you're a beautiful man.
Come the men in black. Welcome to Miami. I don't know.
Okay, so today it's January. My watch is dead.
It's the 11th.
It's January 11th, and
Indeed
this is our first time meeting since the new year. So
Indeed it is.
I hope.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah, Happy New Year.
You as well. Happy New Year to you both. Yes.
So we were kind of going to talk a little bit about kind of like a year in review for us, and ups and downs and highlights and all that jazz.
Should be good.
All right.
Kick us off, Tracy. What was your highest point of the year?
Well, I wouldn't say this is the highest point of my year, but it's funny because we celebrated the new year in Vegas. And if you follow me on Facebook, you saw that if you know me, you know I have the biggest crush on Brody Jenner. He is my husband knows. He's fabulous. So we go and the day it's Sunday morning. So there was New Year's, and then there was the day after, it was the day after New Year's. So I didn't know that he was DJing at one of the top nightclubs there. So we go down for breakfast, and I'm looking a hot mess. Hot mess. I have on pajama pants.
Vegas will do that to you.
Makeup left over from the day before kind of thing. A hat, of course. And I don't know. I was just in no condition to be seeing Brody Jenner. But sure enough, we walk in the restaurant and we sit down. And Travis is like, I'm going to go drop our bags off while we eat, because we were leaving that morning. And then in the restaurant, there's a giant mirror. And I could see through the mirror I'm seeing the back of his, but the mirror was allowing me to see the face. And I was like, I know Brody Jenner a mile away. And I'm like, oh my God. Brody Jenner is sitting across the carpet from me.
So you identified him by the back of his head?
No, I could see his face in the mirror.
Oh.
He was there was a mirror on the wall where his table was.
Has anyone ever seen that Saturday Night Live skit where the guy's like, the back of your head is ridiculous? And that's what I was just sitting here thinking about when I thought that you identified him by the back of his head.
No, he had a hood on. And I could see his face. And I don't know, that was the highlight of my month.
Nice. Did you do one of those eyebrow things? What's up, man?
No,
No,
I didn't. But then I made the post on Facebook, and I was surprised to know how many people did not know who Brody Jenner was. And I was like, it's the reality TV junkie in me.
I have zero idea who.
So it's Bruce Jenner's son.
Oh, okay.
Caitlyn Jenner, son. Anywho, moving on. Back to my year, and I just had to say, we were talking, whatever. So the highlight of my year, that's a big one.
I feel like it can be like a a theme or something, though. It doesn't have to be a specific, like, this was the best sandwich that will therefore.
I would say this. I feel like 2021 for me was when everything as far as work and personal life really started to come together and make sense for what I've been wanting to happen. So it was one of the first years where having the team really gave me so much of my time back. I was able to be present for my kids the majority of the year. So that's the biggest standout thing for me is how much of my time in 2021 I was able to use doing things, family related, but helping the team grow. We had, did I tell you the numbers yet?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So as a team, the Tracy French real estate team, we closed right at $62 million in production as a team.
Well done.
And we helped over, I believe, 243 clients buy, sell, or invest in 2021.
That's crazy.
And that's
awesome.
Pretty significant. My personal production, I think, was a little over 17 million as an individual. And I don't know how many units. I can't remember. 50, 58 maybe.
There were so many. We just forgot.
Despite the craziness the world has been going through with COVID and, adjusting to a new way of life, I really can't complain. And I know that I'm super blessed and I'm super thankful. But it's been a great year. And I'm hoping 2022 follows, keeps on the trend.
Yeah.
Same.
What were some of the low points?
Oh, gosh. I would say COVID and really adjusting with the kids. Finally, they got back to school in August of 2021. But I would say that was the biggest low point.
Sadly, that lasted till today.
Right.
That's true.
But of course, no one has really navigated anything like this before in our lifetime. So just kind of adjusting to that I feel like if that's the only low point that I can come up with, I feel like I'm doing okay. There's a lot of low points that have happened in general, not that didn't affect me personally, but recently we had major tornado disasters in our state that it makes you really stop and think about how lucky you are. And there's so many people that lost their lives and, homes, complete towns just destroyed. And I think that wasn't at the end of 2021. It was a month ago?
Yeah, not too long ago.
It's been an interesting year. Like we wouldn't expect that to happen in December for tornadoes to come through and just, I don't know. But what about you, Jim?
Welp. So I think for me in particular, some of the high points were kind of a mixture of things that maybe I didn't realize were going to become high points. So, obviously jumped into this career. I just wrapped up my first full year as a real estate agent, which was, in hindsight, looking back, I am uber competitive, which you obviously know that now.
Yes.
No one is harder on me than me. And so, I had all these goals and a high point. Obviously I had this one goal that I knew, like I wanted to sell enough volume to at least make, what I made in my previous career. And I did that fairly, I certainly don't want to use the word easy, but I did it in probably 2/3 of the year.
Right.
I mean, it was July-ish when I kind of hit that mark. So then
you were selling before this?
Yeah. So my previous career, I managed a team of 13 for a big events company, and they sold the events that this company still hosts nationwide. And I had a team of 13, and we were very successful. Obviously, COVID happened, and anybody running events, I mean, that kind of basically shut down that industry for a short time. But obviously me and that previous company went our separate ways, and that's a whole different story and whatnot. But
on the next episode
of Messy Success with Tracy French and me, one of the friends. But anyways, so I had this goal, and I hit it pretty quick, and I was like, oh wow. So then I adjusted the goal, and so it's really funny how my mind works, how competitive I am as a person. So I adjusted this goal. The original goal was like 7 to 7.5 million in volume, and I did that, in around about July, I think is when it was. So then I was like, well, okay, well then let's just go for 10. And I'm not the kind of person that just sets goals, they're not supposed to be easy. So I knew 10 wouldn't be easy, but I was like, okay, we're going to go for it. And I had it.
Yeah.
I had it. I did.
You did.
I had it in the bag, and not in the bag. Clearly, I didn't have it in the bag.
The bag broke.
The bag broke.
Had a couple
Someone
deals.
returned their house.
A couple deals for various reasons that could potentially be considered a low point that fell through. And man, gosh, I had it. But so it's funny. So here I am. I finished the year at over 9.5 million in volume. I'm number 7 overall in the entire brokerage.
Of nearly 80.
Of nearly 80 people, as brand new, and I'm mad at myself. Tracy's like, "Are you serious right now?"
Yeah.
She says, "You realize that there are people that do this for 20, 30 years and never do that much in volume in a year." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, but I had a goal and I didn't hit my goal." She's like, "But you did. You had to adjust your goal, so."
Well, I'll just say it's really important that, and I've talked about this in our team leader group at the office too. Sometimes you can be so super competitive that you don't stop to give yourself the proper credit for things that you were able to achieve. And that's what he was doing. It's like, okay, I understand you're competitive. And that's one of the big things that I like about him and being on this team. But there comes a time where you do need to, he's done this too. He's proud of himself, I know now. But sometimes I think you can kind of work against yourself. You need to still carry that, be proud, and then say, you know what? Next time I'm gonna get it. But
I'm gonna get it.
He was beating himself up, and I'm like, dude, you need to stop and think about what you did here. And then, so I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So that, obviously, the whole year, really, in this brand new transition. Sales is sales. I've said that for years. Anybody that knows me that has ever associated with me on any level related to career knows that I believe sales is sales. There's it's all relationship driven. Whether you're meeting the person for the first time or you've known them for years, if you are assisting them through the process of consuming some product, regardless of how large that product is, the relationship you have with that person is ultimately, in my opinion, what is going to truly drive that transaction. So it was a tremendous transition, though, because I was completely doing something that I had done for 15 years into something that, while it was sales focused, it was it's completely different. So the high point, obviously, of the year was having so much success right away. Now, I'm very driven in the fact that I don't really allow myself to fail. Like if it's something that is, failure, and I guess I don't even look at it as a failure. Like I look at them as learning experiences. Like I don't believe I fail. I believe sometimes I have learning experiences. And so, it was a great year, but then I think the highest point of the year for me kind of goes back to what I used to do versus what I do now. And now what I do now also giving me the ability to do something else that I used to not be able to do. And that is be more present with my family. So I think I said this in one of our very first episodes about how when I first transitioned and the other job was no more, and I'm transitioning into this new career, and my son says to me, "Hey, Dad, why are you here?" Because like he was used to me being gone all the time, and so this past weekend, I drove down to Lexington. My daughter had a dance competition for the first time, and I was there. My son, played baseball in this past summer and fall, and I was there. I was kind of almost like a coach, and for his team, and I never gotten to do that before. And it was just cool. So like that, being able to be present, and now granted, this real estate job, it keeps you going 24/7. I mean, there are times when you still have to make a choice of, continuing, like, growing this livelihood of your and getting a sale and doing all the things. But, I was on an airplane every other weekend in my previous job, and now I'm home every night unless we as a family choose to go somewhere. So,
and it's good because the ages of your kids, your son is not that he wasn't already, but he's getting to that age where he's going to be doing extracurricular activities a lot. And of course your daughter Lola. So it's not that the earlier stages of their childhood was not important, but by any means, I guess I mean the timing of it all, allowing you, Lola, she just started dance, but had you not switched careers, there's a solid chance that you wouldn't have been able to go to that
I would have likely
competition.
I would have likely been somewhere else this past weekend, and I would have missed it. And that the fact that I was able to be there, and because it was really, because she had never done this before, so like, yeah, she goes to her little studio and they practice, and there's they got the speakers and it's loud, and they give them their little choreography, their routine, and all the things that they're going to do. But it was funny because I take her into the hall before the whole, and I was like, okay, look, the stage is really big. It's bigger than the room that you're in. There's going to be bright lights. The sound's going to be a lot louder. All you got to do is do the same thing you've been doing in practice. And she's like, okay, Daddy, I got it. And she did, man. She went out there. She killed it.
Yeah, killed it.
Awesome. So I feel like what I just heard you say was that you were able to be a top performer at your job and also have like a measurable increase of time, either to do things with your family, be involved there, or just, I don't know, maybe even just work on hobbies. So
yeah,
like what was that allowed you to be able to perform more and at the same time have more time?
When the curveball of losing my previous job, I mean, because that came out of nowhere. At no point was I expecting that to go down the way that it did. It provided a shock to the system that it forced me to refocus. It forced me to, go and do. I just, because here I'd been a salaried employee for decades, and then all of a sudden, that's gone. And I decided to myself, all right, well, I'm going to go do this thing that's not salaried. It's solely based on performance. And I mean, obviously all jobs have some performance based, parameters that you're supposed to meet. But if you don't perform in the real estate world, I mean, you don't get paid.
It's very much sink or swim.
Yeah.
And I think that led to why you were so successful. It's a little piece is when you are in a situation where it's like you sink or you swim. Are you gonna be able to come through and swim?
I ain't trying to be the Titanic. I'm trying to be Michael Phelps up in here. You know what I'm saying?
And when the comfortability gets taken away completely, absolutely.
So yeah. I mean, I think that's what it is. I mean, there were moments of grief, but at the end of the day, I had at the time, while my wife does ungodly amounts of work at home, we were fortunate enough in that previous situation for her to, stay home with the kids and do all the things that she kept she to this day still keeps our house together more than I do. But, at the time there was no other income but mine. So I had 3 people looking back at me like,
what now?
Hey, what are we going to do now? So I'm like, oh shoot. we got to figure this out. I'd edited myself there. You're welcome, Mom, if you hear this one. I really only did say shoot. But, I think that's what it was. I mean, I didn't have a choice. Like, I'm either going to go do this and, continue this lifestyle that I hate to say that my family expects. I mean, my kids don't know any better. They're too, they think that Mommy and Daddy are just made of money and we could just, whenever something's broken.
Don't they all think that?
They do, but it's just funny. Like, we go out periodically and he'll see something in the store and like, well, do you have any money? I'm like, no, but you do. And I'm like, yeah, we're not
just
getting
use
that.
the card.
Yeah,
just use the card.
We're not getting that then.
The unlimited money card.
Right.
Yeah, no. So, I really think that was what it was. It was just, it was forced. Like, I didn't have time to sit and, rest on my laurels and get lost in my feels.
What does that mean?
I've heard that before. I've also never known.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Sit back and do nothing, basically.
Okay, fancy pants.
So if I can ask a personal question, Jim.
Sure thing.
Do you think that you were too comfortable where you were before?
Yeah, I was very comfortable. I mean, I know that we did good work. I know we did. We the division that me and my two direct superiors oversaw, we directed massive growth, for the company. And I mean, that's not just my opinion. The proof is in the numbers. I mean, there's various reasons why. I mean, certainly there were some acquisitions along the way and things like that, but the amount of growth that, we oversaw, I mean, it was massive. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, I know that we did a good job, but yeah, there was some
personally.
There was some comfortability to it, for sure.
I don't allow people to get comfortable.
No,
oh man.
No.
So,
and maybe that's why you're the
the
seventh in the entire company. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, so it was good.
So what is, as far as you, like, did you really specify what your low?
I haven't specified
we haven't got
low
there
yet. We were always talking about a high.
Step on cloud nine.
So
with GM.
let's pivot then. I have a feeling of what I would think a low was for you. That is more of a recent. What would you say?
You talking about my mom?
Yes, I am.
So I didn't even tell you this earlier. So both of my parents were diagnosed with cancer this year. So both of those my dad diagnosed, and fortunately both were discovered very early. Dad's was prostate cancer, and they sorry, Dad, just telling your whole story here. They went in and just took his prostate out. And they said, hey, you don't need it. Like, he's 71. They were like, are you going to have any more kids? And he was like, I'm pretty confident I'm done.
Oh, man.
So he's like, if I don't need it, take it out. So they went and took that out, and he's clean bill of health now. And then Mom was recently diagnosed with breast cancer. We actually found that out over Christmas. Again, they caught it very early, and which is great. But I mean, anytime you hear those things, I mean, it's still, it's devastating.
Super scary.
And it's like, I mean, the origins of it, where it comes from, you have all the questions of why, and my parents, they're not spring chickens, but they're life veterans. You see what I'm saying?
I like that.
They're not old.
They're not old. They're veterans in life. But I mean, nobody's ready, for a worst case scenario with something like that. I mean, me and nobody. So yeah, I mean, that was a pretty low point, but she's got some great doctors that have given her a plan, and she's, feels great about it, and they think that they have caught it early enough to knock it out and take care of it. And so that low point is still kind of simmering a little bit, just to see, where it's going to be at the end. But yeah, that would probably be the low.
Amen. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Be praying for you and stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of hijacked your low.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. I just know, like, that's extremely difficult. Again, like you said, even though, caught early, the C word is super scary, no matter what the situation is. So I know that that's weighing on you. So 2022, just going to praying for her to come out of it healthy as ever. And I don't know, maybe that is going into 2022 is even more so of living in the moment and loving life and, you know, doing everything you can to be healthy. You and I both, we talked about going to the gym and training and all of those things. It just is another reminder of take care of yourself, do everything you can. Of course, you know, some things are inevitable, or they're going to happen, but.
Well, it's just like, you know, everything that went on, you know, over the last year, it's funny. Like, there's, I love music. And I'd say the genre I'd probably hit at more than anything is country music. But there's this one song, I think it came out this year, and it's like the epitome of everything that has happened, you know, this past year and a half. But it's the country artist's name's Cody Johnson, and the song's called Till You Can't. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right. And basically,
yes.
the story, the theme of the song is like, you know, do it now. Like, do what you can now until you can't. I mean, because one of the lines says, if you got a dream, chase it, because the dream's not going to chase you back. So basically, you know, go after it, go do it, you know, and it's weird. It kind of ties in to, I think, what we were talking about the last time when I brought up Inky Johnson.
Yeah.
And he was saying, you know, go for it. If you think, I mean, you might not do what you set out to do, but that doesn't mean, at least you know. The only way to guarantee failure is if you don't try. So,
if you have not listened to Inky Johnson or any of his, I mean, he can be found on YouTube. Or I promise you will have a better day if you listen. And of course they have this music playing that immediately gets you in like the right headspace. And no, not that.
I'm just messing.
It's pump up music.
No, he's super inspirational. I mean, if you listen to him, it's kind of hard not to want to go out and tackle the day as best you can.
Right.
And you know, of course, he's someone who has had some struggles and overcame some things. So highly recommend you go check him out.
Absolutely.
Sure.
All right. You're next.
My turn. Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start with the low point, because I feel like that's more chronological. But man, a year ago, I was working at a different company, slowly dying inside. A lot of that also had to do with just, it was actually a really good company, really good environment. I think it just had to do with the situation of 2020. I was selling, it was just well known by myself and my lovely wife that I needed to try and find something else. So definitely the lowest point then. I had been in that industry for about 3 years, was very average. I think there was a lot of like humility that I needed to be taught, because I was like, oh, I can do people, I can sell too. And at the end of the day, I realized that I could still do people, and that I have to learn a lot more about sales. So my own like competitive nature reviled against that, obviously, and I was just basically depressed all the time. So man, that was a low point. And I have to say that the high point is probably just the opportunity of my current job. So I've been given a lot of opportunity to just kind of teach myself. The schedule has led to just such a more healthy environment at home.
Yeah.
Because I can like see my family at night and on the weekends and things like that. So
definitely.
It's just been a huge blessing. I've grown a lot just in like getting thrown, I feel like, into the fire and having to figure it out. So the high point has definitely been this job, just being allowed to be creative and meet new homies.
You are very creative, and I will say, I may have said it. I think I've said it on an episode here before, where the whole podcast thing to me was, I was like, oh, that's going to be so easy. Get on there, and I like to talk a lot, and then I realized very quickly that it was not that easy to come up with things, and I probably would have thrown in the towel.
I didn't let you.
Had it not been, sure, he was not going to let me, for you guys here in the studio that was like, wait, no, we're creative here. But the way that you can come up with a structure like that has been like, you're very good at what you do. And I personally, appreciate you and your abilities to keep this thing going and flowing properly. And Like today, we came in today and we were like, I hope you're ready. And he was like, about as ready as you are. And I'm like, well, that's kind of scary.
It's the irony of it. He just helps us speak so easily.
Yeah.
Oh, man. This is too much. Well, let me just say then, from our perspective, friends, and I don't know, maybe we'll take this out of the episode. But man, you're probably our favorites.
Oh yeah.
So
don't tell anyone.
Should I tell Tracy what we call her in the office when she's not here?
Sure.
We call you Beautiful Tracy very often. So that is your nickname around the office.
Can you all call my husband?
Hey, yo, Travis.
That is so funny. I love that.
Oh man,
that's funny.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna turn it back around on you. I don't like talking about myself.
All right. So,
What
were you going to turn right? Was there a question associated with that turn?
Take that timestamp down, Mr. Editor. No, I was just going to ask the last question. So with COVID being as crazy as it was, and you still selling so many houses, with the terrible start to or coming out of a terrible start to, or the end of 2020, and getting let go and things like that, and then all the ups, being the top performer, things like that. What mashing of those two things, the low parts and the high parts, led, do you think, to the success that you want to carry into 22?
I think for me, it's just I think we all you can't create competitiveness. I don't think, like, if you either have it or you don't. And I mean that in a way, like, to say that people who don't are more introverted. I mean, I don't mean to say that they're not competitive, because people can, determine what competitive means to them. But like for me in particular, having no clue what was going to happen. I mean, because one of the things, I'll be honest with you, my wife is very logical. She's very much likes a plan. I am a fly by the seat of your pants, like, go do much. Now we are 100% yin and yang, and that's why we work out so well together. But one of the questions that was asked, she's like, okay, well, what happens if this doesn't work out? What are you going to do? And my response, which probably infuriated her, was, well, what happens when it does work out? I'm gonna do this. And to her point, like, she wasn't saying, hey, you can't do this. She knows how driven I am. She knows, like, and she was unbelievably supportive, more than anybody.
She's trying to have a backup plan, because that's in her nature.
She wants a backup plan, which is 1,000,000% who she is, and I get it. But so for me, I think what I've experienced over this past year is what I knew all along. I can do this, and I'm going to keep doing this, and I'm going to keep driving. I'm going to keep pushing, and I'm going to keep setting my goals very high, and because the one that I've got for this year is very high. If I had hit my goal, my goal for 2022, if I'd have hit that this year, I'd have been chomping at Tracy's tails, and I'd have been number 2 in the brokerage. But I would
still be number 1.
You would still be number 1. You're right. But I would have been.
Just kidding.
Who does number 2 work for? You, Tracy. That's right. Anyways, that's what it would have been. That's anybody go watch Austin Powers if you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyways, but I think that's the thing. Like, you can create your own success, and you can create, your outcomes. Yeah, I mean, there's going to be obstacles. There's going to be things, bumps in the road. There's going to be, unforeseen circumstances that may prevent certain things. But, it's up to you. And I really just kind of feel like that's a lesson that I've always known, but over this past year of 2021, something that has really just been shoved right back in my face. Like, hey, if it's up to you, and yeah, you might need some help along the way, but you need to be able to accept it, because I'm also somebody that I like to go and do and just do me. I think that this past year has taught me as well, or reminded me, not necessarily taught me, that, like, it's okay to get help every once in a while. It's okay to let somebody, who might be more experienced in whatever the situation may be, like, it's okay to help use them as a resource. But at the same time, don't let your learning moments, which some people call failures, don't let them overshadow all of the great that you are and can accomplish. So
yeah, that's awesome.
And for me, I think all of it, not just 2021 that was full of unknowns and what will life be like for us when we walk out of our homes every day. It all comes down to, I feel like I've touched on this before, you are in control of how you take how you look at the day, how something, all of the negative things that may pop up. Just remember your reaction to that is going to highly affect the outcome. I mean, there's so many things that are going to continue to come up on a daily basis that could completely just pull you down. Like, it's okay. You are still here on this earth. There's still so much positivity if you look around. And I think ultimately that's the highlight for me, is so many things could have kept us all down, but I was still able to help so many people. This podcast, again, starting this out, I didn't really know what was going to happen with it. I thought it was going to be strictly focused on my success and how I got where I am. And then I realized when I started to bring other people in who I thought could really impact people's lives, that gave me a new purpose even with this. And I think it's, how can you help people? How can you motivate people? I don't know, I am surprised with myself how many things come my way that over the years, I've truly just learned to not let it get me worked up. And I really think, again, your mom getting diagnosed with cancer, those are the things that could really ruin your day. But, so many other things okay, how can you make it better? How can you fix it? Keep moving forward and everything's going to work out. And I think 2021 was full of that. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. And it turned out to be a pretty great year.
Absolutely. And I'll attest to both of that. I think what I've learned a lot is just don't be afraid to barrel into a situation that you've never been in before.
Don't hide from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And because usually if you and what we were talking about earlier, I wasn't saying that comfortability is necessarily unhealthy or something like that.
No.
But we can I feel like we can discover different parts of ourselves and different abilities and skills that we may not have used for 10, 15 years when we're put in those situations where we just have to get something done.
For sure.
Growth happens when you're out of your comfort zone.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Goals for 22.
Do I just throw it out there? If I put it in print, but if I put it in actual audio file that gets
then
released,
we can go back and watch it
at that point.
Yeah.
All right. 16.7.
Beautiful.
Explain what that means to those who listen who may not understand.
So people who don't know what that means. So my volume goal for this year is 16.7 million. So before December 31st, 2022, my goal is to have closed in this calendar year 16.7 or more. More would be great in sales volume. So what that equates to is probably going to be around around 60 to 70 sides in the real estate market, real estate world. A side is the buying side or the selling side. So I probably am going to need 60 to 70 sides or transactions to do it. So yeah, that's my goal. And the reason why, and everybody's well, I've had a lot of people say, well, why are you picking that number? So with RE/MAX, there are these different award tiers. The first one's executive, then you have 100% club, and then you have platinum. Well, the difference between 100% club and platinum is it's a pretty big jump. But I'm okay, well, I've already done 100%, then I don't want to just do 100% again, but that means I'm going to have to increase my production by about 50% from what I did in the previous year. So really the goal is the platinum. To get to platinum, I need it to be about 16.7. So there it is.
Well, I'm excited for you to get there by October.
It's on record. It's officially on record.
That's uncomfortable right there.
Yeah, throwing it out there.
Yeah, I mean, I put it out there, so I'm not afraid of it. I'm gonna go for it, and you know what? I'm gonna get it.
If there was anyone that I was confident that
I'm gonna get it,
it would be Tracy, but then it would be you right after that.
Well, Tracy's already done it multiple times.
That is funny.
But no, I'm gonna do it.
My goal, I haven't really. Again, I'm kind of a mess. I haven't really thought about true goals for 2022, but I think I have a goal of growing the amount of listeners that we have, because I do think that maybe not when it's just you and I, but hopefully we make you laugh sometimes, but I do think that we have a plan for having a lot of really good motivational content here, and just to, I don't know, I hope more people choose to listen to us. And I just want to continue being present for my kids. My goal is to help him and everyone else on my team achieve their goals. I think that's the whole point of having me as your team leader. I don't know. My goal is to laugh a lot more and just keep traveling a lot more.
I was laughing with you. Like I was helping you achieve your goal, like from the jump. Let's do it.
My goal.
That fart machine you have on your Tesla. I was going to say
we have not talked about the machine. I like how you called it the machine.
See, I told you.
We'll have to. I have video of the car making bodily functions and
farts.
Yes. I don't know what we had to
Hysterical.
throw that in there. It's so funny. It is.
That alone is going to help you get your laugh goal.
I don't know why it's so funny.
Is it like a horn or something?
Oh,
it can be.
It can be.
So you can set the car to fart when you turn on your turning signal. And I've done it. It does not stop farting until you complete the turn.
It's hysterical.
Or you can set it and that does it inside the car. And then it has on the screen all of the seats, and you can move the whoopee cushion to whatever seat you want to fart. And
how genius is that?
Or it farts on the outside of the car, which is the best, because when you're picking your kid up from lacrosse and she's coming out and all of the team's coming out with her, and you just lay on the fart and
That's so great.
Dude, it was worth every penny.
I feel like whatever software engineer pitched that to the
who would have thought
project engineer
to make that a part of the car. Like, it's comical.
Elon Musk.
You got somebody like Elon Musk that has
richest man in the world,
created rockets to get to outer space. Hey, you know what? We're going to put a fart machine on the cars also, because just like I said, even the richest man in the world understands bodily function is hilarious.
This needs to be one of the edits of the show that strictly talks about farts. And I want to yes. People will listen.
Probably.
No, I don't know if they will.
Andrew will listen.
That episode might have been our least listened to.
Because we need to go back to that episode and cut the fart parts out and make it a little
mini sesh.
People like comedy. It's funny.
It's true.
Have you ever been sitting in your room at night and then all of a sudden
we have to hurry because I have to pee.
We could definitely timestamp that. Holy God. Oh my God.
We're making this difficult for him editing today.
Oh man,
that's hysterical.
And then my goals for this year. I mean, a lot of it revolves around work stuff. I want to have a couple of my own shows. I've got one that I'm starting with a couple buddies from college, and Andrew and I are starting a really exciting show that we're excited to get up off the ground. But I just want to. I think the main goals are with my kids. Like they're real young. I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, almost 4. And I just want to be intentional, I guess, with them. I want them to be my BFFs after they're old and say, "Dad, you don't understand what I'm going through." And I say, "No, I don't really, but still love you." So
I don't mean to cut you off, but how fast the years go by is like you will blink and he'll be graduating from high school and going off to college. And I cannot tell you how important, like, that's the best goal that you could have, because I promise you it's going to just pass you by so quickly.
I can already see it. My 3-year-old came up to me the other day, who, of course, just a couple weeks ago, I was, rocking in my arm.
Yeah.
And said, "Dad, you're ruining my life." And I said, "Lily, you've never heard that come out of my mouth ever. Where did you hear that?" And we already had that first discussion. So at the end of the day, she realized I was not, in fact, ruining her life, and that she could just have an extra piece of candy. But it was a very intense time with a child that should be not speaking such large words for her.
It's so innocent, though,
person.
that they are at where they think that they can't have another piece of candy is ruining their life. It's so funny. Innocent of them to just, it's like, oh, you have no idea.
Yeah, and it also shows that they have very, very good lives, little suckers.
Right?
Touche.
Yes.
Lola fell asleep on my chest last night at 5 years old, and that does not happen anymore.
Mm-hmm. I hope you got a picture.
Oh, 100% I got a picture. And I held her there for a while because I was just like, and it's funny because she moves a lot when she sleeps. She just kept being like jerking around a little bit. It was really great, but
that's awesome.
Oh, as a mom in the room, I will say, I think it's pretty common that in most families, the women are the photo takers. Please take pictures of your wife with the kids.
Jessica has said that to me before. She's like, I mean, just every once in a while, can you
when they're not expecting it,
take a candid photo. I don't have to be looking, but if I'm doing something with the kid, so yeah.
Yeah, because honestly, there's, your Facebook memories pop up, and I always see so many pictures of my husband, with Gracie. Yeah, just like that. And it's like, man, no one really does that for us. So it's like, he's so lucky he has all of these pictures. And then, I have to be like, I'm going to pose. Will you take my picture with the kid? So if in 2022, take more photos of your wife with the children.
I promise
Good job,
I will.
Jim.
Well done.
All right. Well,
that was messy success.
That's our year in review, kind of. So I think that next week we're going to have a little bit better of a plan. But I think this worked out really well. It kind of forced us to look back and see how things went. How are we going to do better for 2022 for ourselves and for others? And
for our listeners.
And for our listeners. And we're all going to pray for Jim's mom. That
absolutely
she comes through this healthy as ever. Until next time.
Thank you for joining us on Messy Success with Tracy French and friends. I'm Jim, one of the friends.
I'm Joel, one of the friends.
And we'll see you next time.